Hey friends, my name is Amy Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel and another Halloween themed video. Obviously, because look at my cute shirt. I know, apologies, because number one, I know the ring light glare from my glasses is hugely distracting, but I've run out of contact lenses and I need to see. Secondly, I am very congested today, so if I sound all like mucusy and gross, I'm sorry, I just am. I asked you guys what kind of Halloween videos you wanted to see this year. I got a request for some Halloween DIYs, so those are going to be coming next week. But I also got a request to bring back creepy storytelling time, which is something that I did back in 2019, where we sit down, we read scary stories off the internet and pee our pants because they're terrifying. And no one is going to be more afraid than me, and I will have to sleep with the light on for months after this, probably. When I did this before, I read stories off of creepypasta, which was fun, but those are fictional. This time I'm reading stories off of Reddit, which are supposedly, at least, people's real life experiences, so that makes it even more terrifying. I have a selection of different stories to share with you today. I hope you enjoy it. That's all we're gonna do for an intro today. Let's get into the scary stories. What the heck was that noise? I'm so on edge. I haven't even started yet. I'm so on edge. I'm so afraid. Okay, first story. My mom's whole side of the family was raised Catholic. All went to the same church in a small town in the south. I was there one summer as a kid with my mom. I'm maybe like 10 years old. My uncle's farmland backs right up onto the church. Anyway, things haven't been going so well on the farm. Crops are not growing right, healthy animals randomly dropping dead, chickens and small creatures showing up gutted even though he had a donkey to protect his cattle. Can somebody who knows something about agriculture explain the significance of the donkey? Do donkeys, like, are they the bodyguards of the farm world? What's that about? Anyway, so one day the adults are acting super weird and cagey. You know how they act when something big is going down, but they don't want to scare the kids. Like that. My grandma, mom, uncle, aunt, some older cousins, and the priest and another man from the church are all hanging out on my uncle's farm, and they basically kick me out of the house to go play. Naturally, being a very curious kid, I climb as high as I can in the nearest tree to the house, trying to eavesdrop. I hear a snippet of conversation here and there, but I can't figure out what they're up to. Everyone leaves the house, following the priest to the barn, stables, chicken coop, etc. This entire time, I'm watching from the tree. While they're all down at the stables, I hear the door to the house open and a woman I've never seen before, maybe 30 years old with brown hair and a blue dress, casually walks out of the door. She briefly looks up at me in the tree. I wave. She ignores me and walks off down the dirt road. Okay then, rude. Once the adults are done with whatever they're doing, we all gather in the dining room of my uncle's house to have some lemonade that my aunt made because it was such a warm day. I decide to pipe up and ask everyone who the woman in the blue dress was, since I'd never seen her visit before. Every adult in the room freaks out. My aunt starts crying, the priest looks like he might barf, and I'm told the woman was just visiting. Okay, whatever. A decade later is when my uncle finally tells me that the woman I saw was an apparition that had started appearing to the parishioners at the church and next door on my uncle's land. They assumed that she was a lost spirit trying to pass on, but after she attacked the priest at his house, also nearby, and farm animals started showing up dead, they decided she was some sort of demon who appeared as a young woman to hide her true nature. No, no, no. The day I saw her from the tree, the adults had gotten permission from the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism on my uncle's land. It appears I witnessed her leaving. I My essential oil diffuser just made a noise and it made me pee my pants a little bit. I'm 26 years old today, and the story of Evelyn, as the parishioners started calling her, she'd been spotted inside the church, still gives me goosebumps. No wonder why. She was completely expressionless when she looked up at me in that tree, didn't seem in any hurry to leave either. The moment she was gone, the crop started recovering and we stopped finding dead and eviscerated livestock. I'm not religious and I'm generally a pretty big skeptic, but I'll never be able to explain what I saw from the oak tree that day. No, thank you. No. No. Okay, let's reiterate something. Ghosts are terrifying, but demons, no. No. No, I do not play around with demons, not at all. Story number 2. Are you ready? I don't think I am. My wife and I are avid backpackers and we try to put down at least one 20 to 30 mile weekend trip every month with our ultralight gear. Oof, this well done you. We're fairly experienced at this point and have had numerous semi-dangerous encounters with wildlife and other wilderness hazards. We don't get shook easily. We're hiking a ridgeline trail in the late afternoon, planning to take a turn and head down into a drainage camp near water before it gets dark. We've put down 10 plus miles that day and we're fairly beat, looking forward to setting up camp and getting dinner going. We see a guy coming up the trail towards us as we turn onto the drainage trail, wearing worn out clothes. Up close, he's a white guy of kind of indeterminate age, somewhere between late 30s and late 40s. We acknowledge each other and strike up a little conversation on the trail. The first thing I notice is his accent. It's clearly American, but it's not the accent of the area we're in, and it's kind of, well, old-timey. There's a kind of music or lilt to it. Note, not a drawl. It's vaguely familiar, like something I've heard but can't quite recall. My wife is chatting with him while I puzzle his accent out. And then I notice he's covered with tattoos. Weird ones too. I have ink, so I'm not one to judge someone just for having a tattoo, but I've never seen anything like these tattoos before. They're not standard hard-ass tattoos or pictures. I don't know what that means. It's almost like writing, but not in any alphabet I've ever seen and arranged in a way that makes me think that they're also a picture if seen in full, like a magic eye game made up of some indecipherable script and inked on the man's skin. I'm now getting an itchy something is very wrong here feeling from this guy when I hear him say to my wife, there's a great campsite down by the stream. Lots of campers have used it. I realize that we're an hour from sundown and at least 10 miles from anything, and this guy has nothing with him. Not a backpack, not a water bottle, no warm layer. It's autumn and we're rather high up elevation-wise. Just the clothes on his back, none of which have anything distinguishing about them. No logos or visible brands of any kind, and quite worn. He's about to get overnight on the trail without any gear of any kind and only one campsite within 6 miles of where we're standing. I hear my wife say, that's where we're going to camp. Thanks for the suggestion. And he smiles at us. Lady, you don't tell people where you're going. You don't tell strangers where you are going. I've seen too many true crime documentaries. He smiles back at us, his teeth are pointed, I assume filed, and curved inwards at the back of his mouth. I don't just mean his incisors, I mean his front teeth on top and bottom. It's a look. I nod my agreement and say, enjoy the rest of your hike, and then we continue on. In another mile or two, we get down to the stream, and the campsite is lovely. Beautiful green grass, about 3 inches high, flat, dry, easy water access. However, there's no sign that anyone has camped there in a very long while. As we're looking it over, we find that there are a ton of stakes in the ground. You will usually find a stake or two at high traffic campsites just because people forget them when they're packing up camp in the morning. We found more than 10 of wildly different ages and designs. Some old school and rusty, others new and shiny, but none of the grass is bent or broken except where we've stepped in checking the site. Wordlessly, we both shouldered our packs and hiked another, thankfully flat and easy, 6 or 7 miles to the next site. I'm neither spiritual nor superstitious, and I've never had any other experience that filled me with a sense of unexplainable fear or impending doom the way this one did. That's creepy. I'm not really sure though what the point of like the stakes being in the ground is, because he's saying no one had camped there, but obviously a lot of people had camped there. So he's saying like these people left in a hurry, so much so that so many people had left their stakes in the ground. I don't really see, can someone explain that to me? what's the relevance of the stakes? Okay, I got a couple more for you. I cannot drive for medical reasons. Blindness, migraines triggered by flashing lights. I do, however, use Lyft/Uber a lot. We picked up a hitchhiking ghost. I swear, we picked up a hitchhiking ghost. I like this one, it gets straight to the point. You know where it's going. I always do the rideshare/pool options because I'm cheap and I don't care. I was on my way home late from the Arsenal bar in LA, and it's on the other side of the hill as where I live. We took the canyons back home. Of course, the phone dings with, someone will be joining your ride. No biggie. I'm sitting in the front seat because the back was already full. We drop those people off and go back to pick up the new person. She gets in, doesn't talk, but doesn't pull her phone out either. Driver is kind of like, what do I care? And I'm schmozzled on $5 Jack and Cokes because it was trivia night and my team came in third. Sounds like an excellent night to me. Now we're arcing up through the canyon and it's dead quiet and dark. Not too many other drivers out there, not a lot of homes. The girl finally pipes up. You can let me off here. The map does show her destination is here in the middle of a pitch black empty field. The driver asks her, are you sure? In that tone of voice that says, ma'am, I don't care if you were on drugs. If you get murdered, I get a 1-star rating. Let me out here. So the poor driver does. Pulls over, goes to get out to open the door for her, but before he can even get the seatbelt off, her door is open and she's gone. I mean, gone. Gone. I don't know if she took off in a dead sprint and we missed her, or if she dissolved into the mist. All I know is that the back passenger door was open. There was suddenly no girl to be seen, and we were in the middle of an extremely creepy canyon road that was somewhere between Sunset and Laurel Canyon, and both the driver and I were just super done. As would I be. I finished the ride in silence, got to my house, and went in without daring to look behind me. Slept holding on to my cat and my stuffed pony I've had since forever. I mean, even if she wasn't a hitchhiking ghost, and she was just a real person, that's still ultra creepy that she wanted to get out in the middle of the night into a dark field alone. That's odd. That's sketchy. The final story that I'm going to read you for today was under a Reddit thread that was like, what's the scariest thing you've seen driving at night? And I just thought this would be a great one for us to finish off with. I was driving in Maine and there was a moose just hanging out on the highway. I just remember screaming and driving in the breakdown lane. I never realized how big a moose was. I also don't know why it was calmly standing there. That's it. That's the story. I just thought it would be nice to finish with something a little bit more lighthearted. To be fair, I can see how a moose could be the most terrifying thing that you've seen driving alone at night, because moose are huge. I mean, I've never seen an actual moose in real life, but when I was working at a camp in Maine, I went into my boss's house one day and he had a moose's head like on his wall, and the head was almost as tall as I was, and I was like, oh my gosh, how big was the rest of the moose? So yeah, moose, terrifying. As terrifying as ghosts? Probably not, but you know. Okay guys, so I am well and truly terrified now, and I'm like, ugh, I'm such a baby. I am such a baby. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And remember that I love you all so much. You are enough just as you are, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.